Now we can move the further. That is a control statement. For the control statement, we create a new file. We cannot use this file for that for the further topic purpose. Okay. So we first create a new file demo2.ts. So here we can create the demo2.ts. In demo2.ts, we can learn a control statement. Okay. Tell me which control statement present in your core Java? Fast. It's very easy, not difficult. Control statement. Which one is control statement present in your core Java? Are you used? Yes, Arjun.
If
For
else,
while.
If else, all are control statement. Then
These are
nested if else.
conditional statements, Sumit.
Conditional statement is
Control statements are for and while.
Control statement for while is used for the loop purpose. Where control statement means you can control the actions and execute a logic. Whereas a loop statement is a enlist in a for loop, while loop, do while loop, for each loop that is in the loop statement. We can also call the control statement as a sequential statement. Okay, so if else, nested if else. For that you can use also switch,
break, continue.
break, then continue. All these are a control statements. Syntax is the same like your core Java. I'm just list out here. If I created any variable var count, okay, initially I can assign that value var count is equal to 5. And if you're using if else, again if make a condition, on the basis of condition you can execute your logic, same as count if less than 10. Condition is true, it will execute your statement. For example, console.log, you can mention here condition is true. Okay, same as you can use else, same syntax, whatever you in core Java you follow the same syntax you have to follow. There is no any difference between the syntax. If else, nested if else, then use switch, all these things. If condition is false, you can mention the condition is false. Okay, checked out that just tsc, your file name is demo2.ts and node demo2.js, compile and run. Output is condition true because our count is 5, it is less than 10. Same like you can use it. Again, if you want to switch, syntax is the same, is not a different. Same, you can use a switch. In the switch, you can mention a expression or a choice. Okay, so for that we have to create the one variable where choice equal to 2. Okay, and make it gives the choice for the switch, curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket you can mention here case 1, and you can write your logic here, console.log, you are in case 1. Okay, every case, for the every case execution you have to make it break statement. Okay, so if you not write any break statement, it executes the next case according to that, because it is a, I told that it is a sequential. If you're not mentioning any break, every case, after the every case, it will be execute the next case as well. So here we can mention the case 2. A minute. Case 2, or you are in case 2, and your last case is a, as usual, a default. So you can use your console.log and mention it. You are in default case. After the default case, it is required to write down break statement if your default case is your last statement in your switch case. So no need to write a break. But better approach, you can mention break as well here. Okay. So there is no any sequence. A default is always a last statement. You can mention that default is a first statement as well, but you have to make sure that use a break after the default. Okay. Now check it whether choice 2 means it is a inside the case 2 and give output you are in case 2. Count that things as well. Compile and run. So you are in case 2, output is you are in case 2. If you are using any default case, for example, I mentioned the choice is 21, it is in the default case. Okay. Compile and run. Output will be you are in default. So same syntax like core Java. Is this correct? Is there any problem as a syntax wise?
No.
Next, your loop statement. In loop statement, there is for loop, then while, do while, okay, for each, all are loop statement. First of all, we see the while loop, do while loop. Means syntax wise, we can check it, how it is used. It is same syntax like your core Java. Nothing is any different. Count is equal to 5. When we use a while loop, just tell me when we use a while loop. Yes, Kritika. When we use a while, Rutuja, Sagar, Harshal, Lokesh, yes, anybody? Yes, Amit. Proceed. When we use a while loop,
If you do not know the
When we
condition,
don't,
no condition we use wherever you specific block of code to run the unknown number of times when a specific condition is met.
okay, means you does not know the how many times iterate the loop. You don't know how many times you have to iterate. In that phase or in that scenario, we use a while loop. Because in for loop, you have to know how many times to iterate the loop. Then we go for the for loop. But in a while loop, we don't know how many times to iterate. So you go for the while loop. In the while loop, you can make a termination condition. We call it as a termination condition because while loop is iterate indefinitely. So you have to mention when the while loop is stop iterate. So to make sure you give a correct termination condition. We mention your termination condition count is not equal to 0. That is your termination condition. And here simply we can write a simple logic console.log and count is and display the count value here, and that count will be decrement. That count minus minus. That we use a unary operator post decrement count minus minus. Okay, just let's check whether it is work correctly or not. Compile and run. So count is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once the count is 0, it is exit from the loop. Okay, so it not further iterate. Same like your do while loop is not any different syntax for the do while, same as it is your core Java. What is your do while loop means? Do means you have to perform the first task and then checks the condition, termination condition. So I copy these 2 lines as it is here. And while curly bracket mention here while, in that while we can use a termination condition as the count is not equal to 0. While in core Java you are using a semicolon here. So if you're not using semicolon here, it doesn't matter because in Typescript, semicolon is a optional. If you want, you can give the semicolon. If you don't want, you not giving any semicolon, there is no any problem. But follow your core Java practices, so make it semicolon. Check that things as well. Compile and run. So it is working fine. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now next we can move further that for loop. Just one more for loop. So for loop is same like your core Java. Simply little bit change here in a syntax. Okay. For first here is a initializer. In core Java, you make it as a initializer. Same here, you can also give an initializer. For that, we use a var I equal to 0, then I less than 5, I plus plus. Same syntax is nothing any change. Then console.log and just print out the I value of I is, and I value is printed. Okay, so it only instead of in core Java you writing here integer. In that we can use a var, because any variable creation we use a var as a keyword. Okay, so check that one as well. Compile and run. Value of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fine.